Right. All right, we're back live on the Woman Straw Tools Fans Radio Show. We are live here on the Woman Straw Tools on the Facebook page. Our last guest is an author, entrepreneur, and mother. She does great things for the community, for our people. We have known each other for a long time through emails, but we finally get to talk face to face and get to know her story about her journey to what she at now. So let's welcome Miss Cena Martin. So how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Lavon. So excited for this.
Yes, I'm definitely welcome. How was your week?
It was really productive, really productive. We moved to Georgia, so we're just getting acquainted with the kids starting school. It was a really good week.
Oh, okay. So you just moved to Atlanta.
We just packed up and went.
Oh, wow, okay. Oh, I thought it was like a while. Y'all been there for a while. I didn't know you just moved. So
yeah, we took a trip and then we just never came back.
So what was the decision? What was the reason why you decided to move?
Yeah, it's just the school district that we wanted to put the kids in was really good. And then, Philly's home. Like that's our heart at all times. My husband just came back from up there doing some work up there as well. And it was the environment and the house we wanted was here. And so right now we're just traveling back and forth between Philly and Atlanta to run our businesses and raise our kids.
Okay, wonderful. That is, well, the Atlanta is not a bad place to move. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like everything's happening down there. Everything's happening. It's like everything's like right there in Atlanta. So we thank you for just trying mercy. Just how it's about age. That's not easy. Just to get reacquainted. Just get a new environment, new type of weather. It's a blessing. So
it is.
Thank you for just being there, being present, So can you tell us who is Cena Martin?
Yeah, of course. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for just tuning in. I keep saying I'm excited, but I am, because like Lavon said, this has been long overdue. So my story is I'm a teen mom turned successful entrepreneur. I had my oldest son my senior year of high school, and I'll tell a bit of my story about that. But basically what happened was I really struggled those first few years of my adult life because I became a mom, almost a decade before most of my friends did. Being a teen mom presented a lot of challenges. I was in Philly, I'm from Philly, and learning how to navigate life really pushed me into the road of entrepreneurship. I always tell people it was almost by force, not by choice. I loved business. I loved, the idea of running my own company, but this was the world that really helped me get out of becoming a statistic, because everyone said to me at that time, you're going to be a statistic. You're a teen mom. You've ruined your life. And I was like, no, that's not what it's other options out here. Let me go explore them. So my story is, those first couple of years of trying to raise my son, we actually ended up homeless because although I knew how to go out and get a job and make money, I didn't know how to maintain and manage it. Key lesson right there. And so because of that, we ended up homeless. So as we were homeless, that's when I started my business. I wrote my first book during that time, started selling it online, teaching other teen moms how to get into entrepreneurship, how to start to meditate, how to find peace, even though their family might have been shunning them and they may be going through all of these things. And so from there, ever since then, I've been business coaching, and I've gotten to work with some of the biggest companies, really in the world, multi-million-dollar companies. We got a chance to live in Hawaii for a year because of a business that we started basically for free. So a lot of things have come out of this journey. And now I really help startups and those young moms who want to get into business and small businesses. I really help the community, that particular community, learn how to develop a team, because it's one thing for you to be a solopreneur and for you to start your own business. It's another thing when you start learning how to manage and develop leaders and other people who are going to help you build a business that's going to last for your grandkids. So that's my whole mission now.
Well, so I might need your service because I've been had the greatness for almost 10 years, and I finally started learning how to delegate the past year. So
Yes.
it's been a experiment well, the past couple of months, it's been adjustment. You so into your business, that's your baby, that's what God gave you, and it's hard to trust and delegate your vision to people who can execute a vision. So it was a big adjustment for me, as an entrepreneur, as someone that you can just focus on, just share your experience with, and just adjust to life. So it's so important that we learn how to trust people that God has trust your vision and went with that. So let's go back. Let's backtrack. So you was a teen mom.
Yes.
So what? And then so what was that experience like being a teen mom and finding out you was pregnant? What was your range of emotions at that time when you found out? And then you said you was living, then you was homeless, and you back here. So what led to that part where you was homeless, and then we go from there. So
yeah. So the initial reaction was like shock. I was numb, because at this point, like I said, it was my senior year of high school. I had already applied to, and just to backtrack, I did a dual enrollment program. So I was in high school and community college at the same time. And if any of you guys know how if like Philadelphia Community College or Delaware County Community College works back there, they used to allow the students to do those programs. So I was fully focused on going to college. I knew, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. My mom was a paralegal for like 10 years. I thought that was my track. So what happened was, the day I found out I was pregnant, and let me actually give you what led up to this point. So prior to that, my mom had a lot of things that happened to her. She had a very successful career, but she had a lot of mental health issues that she dealt with. And so she actually ended up taking us into a cult when I was about 10 years old. And again, anybody who's back home in like Philly or New York, y'all know about the Hebrew Israelites, them guys that be standing on the corner yelling and screaming. I was raised in that. Okay. I was fully raised in that from 10 to 21 when I left. When I escaped, I always say, God helped me get out of that. And so what happened was, I was in that cult at that time when I found out I was pregnant. And so a lot of things, the religion, the school, me going to college, I was focused on all of this. So one morning I basically wasn't feeling so good. I went and found out, got myself checked out, and found out what was going on. And they told me, and then I said, it's like, how? Like, I'm supposed to go to UCLA in 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, I'm leaving. I was always wanted to leave. So I was like, I'm going to LA. This can't be. And I was in total shock. So what happened was, I ended up finding a program that was about a mile down the street from my high school. I went to Upper Darby High School. My high school was right down the street. The program was right down the street. And I went in there and I said, listen, ma'am, I need somebody to talk to. I can't talk to my church family. I can't talk to my parents. They're going to tell me I'm going straight to hell. Like, I need somebody who is not in my world to help me figure out what to do. And that program, I will never forget that program. She sat me down and said, you can do this. Let's sit down and let's start creating a plan. So she actually helped me still make a plan to apply for grants, to go to community college. I ended up staying in Philly, staying in like the Delaware County area, having my son, and then going to school. And the first couple of years, we did pretty okay. Like, we were making it. But what happened was, when I went out on my own, there was no real like resources to teach. This is how you pay bills. This is how you take care of rent. This is how you make sure your electric is handled. And so I didn't know none of that stuff, right? So I get out on my own with my baby, who he's like 2 or 3 at this time. And, the first year that we ended up homeless.
Wow. Then the couple parallels you said about, you was at senior high school, about to graduate. Then I think you said CCP at that time, the dual enrollment part. So you probably knew my mom at the time. So my mom worked there at the time. She did registration. So I don't know. You probably know, her name was Linda Howard. So I don't know.
Okay.
So she just retired almost like 1 year ago. She retired to 25 years.
Wow, so, small world, huh?
Yeah, and then you said UCLA. That was my mom's boyfriend's favorite school growing up. So that was so he always was airing with UCLA with John Wooden and Jackie Robinson. The over that that place, and then just, you know, and then one of my friends that I play his music went to UCLA. So it's all come back together. So, and then you say you're talking about you did the first year, then you were on your own. There was no resources there. They end up being homeless. So what happened that got you out of homelessness? What did you decide to do? And what was your mindset to get out of that situation?
Yeah, the first mindset was just shame. Like I was so ashamed that I had ended up there. And at this point, I'm in my early 20s, like 2021. So all of my friends are, and I keep saying that because, you know, at that age, we're looking at like our life is supposed to be a certain way. And we kind of compare. So all my friends are like going to school and doing all these fun things and living a college life. And I'm, you know, in this position trying to take care of my baby. So the first mindset was shame. But after that, I was like, okay, you know, it's time to go. There's no option. I can't sit here and just let this be what it is. I have this human, like this person who I'm responsible for. So I got to do what I got to do by any means necessary. And that was my whole mindset switched to that. So from there, I was like, okay, it's go mode. I went in and started working as a nurse's assistant. And then I got a bunch of jobs like nurse's assistant. I did taxes for a while. I just went to do anything I could to make money. But then in between my time of having these different jobs that weren't really like help giving me exactly the type of money I needed to get back on my own, on my feet, I said, okay, there has to be an easier way to do this. That I know I believe in myself enough to know I can go do it. So I started researching how to be a business owner, like how to become an entrepreneur online. And this was like we talking early like 2014. So it wasn't, you know, people weren't really, it wasn't how it is now, right?
Like, it was like taboo that was like outside the box new back then.
Exactly.
To now, right?
Exactly. Right. It was like it was unheard. So I remember having a conversation with like my grandmother and somebody. They was like, "What are you talking about? People don't, you know, you got to go out and get a job." And I said, "Oh no, I'm gonna figure this thing out." So I started seeing what people were doing and started trying to research the information that was out there. And basically, I figured out I could start making digital products. And I could start selling digital products. So the first thing I did was I wrote that book and I started selling it as an ebook on Amazon. Online. That was the very first thing I did. I think the ebook took me like a week or 2 weeks to write and create, and I made a little cover and published it. My son was on the cover, like it's a picture of him praying like this on the cover, and that was the cover of the book. And I started selling that. So in between me having these jobs and working these different kind of jobs, I had funds coming in from the sale of that ebook through PayPal. So from there, I was like, oh, this is possible. What else can I do? And then I kept searching and looking. And that's when I figured out, oh, coaching is a thing. So you can, so there's an industry, and this is before coaching was like popping, right? Again, it was not a lot of people doing coaching. And if you were, it was almost like an unheard of industry. And so I got into coaching and I figured out, okay, there are people out here who want direction on starting their business. Like, how do I start the LLC? How do I hire my first contractor? Where do I go find a VA? What is a VA back then? And so I got into that and I said, I know these things because I'm using it. Let me get into this skill set. That's when I started figuring out coaching. And what got us out of homelessness, to answer your question, this is a long answer, but what got us out of homelessness was from coaching. I started learning how to position myself and I started attracting high-end clients. So we started getting clients who were paying us $1,000, $600, $1,500, $2,000. And so I only needed 2 or 3 of those and I could afford my own place.
So you say you discovered a way to attract high-end clients. What was the strategy that you did to get those clients that were paying the top dollars to get, help you build your brand, help you explore your brand? What strategy you took that you did or tweaked to make you more accessible to those type of clients?
Yeah, what I did was I switched from, so when I had my digital products going, but on the other side, what I did was instead of me talking about me, like, you know how you go into a interview and you start talking about, I'm a hard worker and I know how to do this. And so instead of doing that, I didn't do that at all. I switched and started having conversations about, these are the types of results that I've gotten for other organizations that I worked for. And even though I had never had a coaching client before, I pulled the results that I had gotten from all those jobs I worked. I had worked like 10 jobs up until this point. So when I worked at, the tax company, okay, well, I helped their office train their team of 10 in 2 months, and we increased the clientele of that office 25%. Right. Okay. Well, when I was over in this organization, I helped this company increase their revenue 30% by doing these 3 steps. So I started pulling out the results I had gotten for all the jobs I had worked. And I shared that with the clients. And the way I was getting clients was I did videos online. So I marketed myself on YouTube very frequently. I had a very it wasn't a lot of followers on the YouTube channel, but the people that were watching it, they were contacting me because of what I was saying in my video. So you don't need a big audience. That's what I'm saying. You don't need a big audience. It's it's your positioning. It's the messaging of what you're saying. So I started doing that. I was promoting myself through video. I networked and met people in person. And then honestly, if I had anyone in my network, I asked like, hey, you mentored me back when I was college. Do you know anybody that's looking for a business coach? Do you know anybody that's looking to, increase do you know anyone who needs help training their team? Maybe they have like 2 employees and they're struggling to delegate. You know anyone who needs help with that? I asked around. And so doing that enough, you only need 2 or 3 clients at that level. It really can bolster your income. And that's what I did.
Right. That's we're gonna talk online at the show because I'm in the kind of same state you in. So before that, you did the ebook. What made you do an ebook at that time, and what did you put in there? I think you might have told us what was in there, but what made you say, I want the ebook now? What made you do ebook? I don't know why you did it, but what did they decide to put it together, and what was the process like doing an ebook?
Yeah, so the mindset of why I did the ebook, because it was the lowest barrier to entry. It was the one product I could create, and I didn't need a lot of funds to create it.
Okay.
Like I had a laptop. All I had to do was open up my Word document, and I could type it up and format it and sell it. So it was low overhead. That's why I made the ebook. And what I put in the ebook, or how I structured it, was I didn't write my whole life story, because as you could just tell, I had a lot of things happen in my life. And so that's not what I did. I didn't write my whole life story. I just pulled out a portion of it that I knew. I researched the audience. So I knew like other teen moms like me, this is what they're struggling with. This is what they're feeling when they're in that guilt and that shame. And a lot of times what us young moms do, and sometimes moms can do this period, is if we experience some type of trauma in our own lives, we pass that to the kids, or we put it on the kids like it's their fault. Right. And so I knew that that was one thing that I had to overcome as a mom. Like, I don't want to do that to my son. So let me figure out how to find my peace, how to heal from some of these things that I've been through, how to, heal from being in a cult. Like I had to, and I took that process of what I did, the praying, the meditating that I did, the continuing to dream and not just become a victim to my circumstances. I took that process, really the mindset work that I had to do. And that became 5 or 6 chapters. If you guys want to go look up the ebook, it's called Tools for Fuel, TOOLS, Tools for Fuel. It's still on Amazon right now. But I took that process of what I went through. I just put it in like 6 short chapters, detailed the whole thing out, and I put it in the ebook and I sold it.
Wow, that's awesome. That's the motivation for me, because did you ever do that as a course, or you thought about that?
Yeah, good question. So now it is a course. Now I have so now what I'm doing is I actually just partnered with an organization out here in near Atlanta. Wonderful. Where I'm coming in and I'm helping to teach the moms. They have moms that are going through a program to become midwives and doulas out here in Georgia. And I just partner with them to come in and literally teach the whole process of the mindset of like entrepreneurship and how you get started. So yeah, it's a book, and then it becomes, you could turn it into a course, and then you can start partnering with organizations and teaching it to their students. The sky is not the limit. And this is why I went so hard on entrepreneurship so young, and why I still advocate for it now, because it doesn't matter what age you are. You don't have a limit on what you can do if you just take what you know and put it into practice.
And that's why I tell people that you have everything inside you. You just gotta, the only person stopping you is yourself, and that's your gift. Everyone has a gift. You gotta use it correctly. You know, like there's a correctly for the people that needs the most. So now you are the CEO and founder of Hire Great Help. So can you tell us more about that, and what does it entail, and what does it do for people? Like, what does it provide?
Yeah. So Hire Great Help is it's a company, but we have we only sell one offer. So the one offer that we have is it's a group coaching program. And the program, basically there's 3 tracks to it. You can go on a 3-month track if you're more of a beginner, 6-month track, or a 12-month track. But basically the whole point of it is, let's look at where your business is currently now, so we can streamline your operations, start documenting your processes that you actually take clients through to help them get results and success. Basically, what's your most profitable product? Let's document the whole process from A to Z, so we know what needs to be done. Then let's train your team how to run it. That's Hire Great Help. We focus on team operations. We focus on helping startups and solopreneurs hire their first few team members. Even if you don't have a team, we have people come in the program all the time. And by the time they're done working with us, they have 2 people on their team who are running who are helping to support their clients from the beginning of the journey to the end. And it's basically built to pull you out of the day-to-day operations of the business, so you can go create other businesses or take your vacation or do other things you've always wanted to do and you need to do as the CEO.
Right. That's what I think. That's where I'm at right now. And personally, like I said, it's been 10 years since we decided to come in business, and it'll be 10 years to be in nonprofit in December. So we're at the point now we finally started being in schools, getting contracts, and now I'm doing proposals now. And so I'm like new to this stuff. So like I said, I don't know the answers. That's why I'm trying to get help for it, so I can put the right stuff in there and then hire the right people. You know what I mean? Like, even though they're not my friends, but I know they work. But I want to have quality people that will do the job, so I won't have to go to site or place every day. I could just go away for a week. I could trust them. They know what they're doing, and I can just talk to them when I get back. You know, so I'm in that space now where I'm transitioning to trying to get contracts and trying to do it, you know, more, get so our people that I worked with that part with me for years get paid, get the just due, because we were doing for free. You know, I was doing for free back then, 2013. You know, it was by faith, by God. It was like, was my life plan? It just flukily happened. It was like a thing that we did a 1-day workshop and turned to a nonprofit. So because of the impact of the kids, it wasn't because of me. It was because of the impact of the kids and how much it meant to them in terms of, you know, just making sure that they are fine with that, because it's so important that our youth know what's going on and have someone that'll support them, that'll help them get through this thing called life. And a lot of times they'll know everything, and they'll know they're not exposed to certain things. And back then, mental health was not as big as it is now. So
it was not. That's so true.
So, you know, so we talk about affirmation, we talk about life skills, talk about anger, forgiveness. We were talking about that stuff 10 years ago, but now it's heightened now with COVID and all that stuff going on, the gun violence and violence in general, and just the trauma. It's like heightened awareness. So our kids are very angry, very defensive. So we try to give them some stuff that is outside the box, that we don't even teach them, like math and science. We're talking about life skills, we're talking about affirmation, we're talking about, we do drama, you know what I mean? Trauma resilience, things like that our kids need that'll help them do better academically, so they can go to college, decide to go to for free and not worry about paying a loan, get out a loan, you know what I mean? So the parents be in debt more. So even being exposed to dual enrollment programs, you know what I mean? So like that, help them get exposed so they can be in college less than maybe 2 years instead of 4 years, you know what I mean? So they can have manageable tuition, you know what I mean? Still have full ride, but less time, you know? So, but like I said, you are doing an extraordinary work, and I'm very proud of you. Now finally seeing you in person and hear your story. You know what I mean? Like I was watching his emails for now I know your story. Okay, now I know Washington's doing this. So, so my question is for you is, what's next for you? What's next?
Oh, that's big. What's next? What's next is I'm definitely feeling called and pulled to start doing events for teen moms, especially now, like what you just said, all of the, like, we know the gun violence in Philly is just beyond, there's no words to describe it. I have a little sister back there who's going to college right now, just graduated. I'm feeling pulled to really start doing events for young moms, to start like helping them with the mental health as well, getting into entrepreneurship, helping them figure out what their dream and what their path is going to be, even helping them find their first client, whatever goal they have. That's like the work I want to do community wise. What's next for Higher Grade Help is we're definitely moving into creating some of the best teams in the world. I have a strong passion to work within our community, because the statistics say that, most small businesses, 25% of small businesses fail because they don't have the right team. But when you start talking about our community, that percentage goes up to almost 60-70%, because we don't have the right teams, and we don't know how to delegate, and we can't find the proper people to help us.
Trust the right people, you know what
correct
I mean?
Or trust the right, exactly.
Trust. We're so controlling, not in a bad way, controlling, letting it go, and then trusting your vision of someone else, fearing that they're gonna mess it up, they're gonna do something wrong for it. So that was my thing for a long time, and I get over that. I had to let that go, So, and that put the people that I know I can trust can be in that right place, so they can do the work and carry the vision. You know what I mean? So without me being present, because I was the type of person, like, anytime I did a workshop, I had to show up. I had to be there, make sure, not because of them, make sure that I was in the room. But the first time this summer, I had two people that were contracted by me, and by the organization I was working with, to be there. And I was not there for one of these sessions. I was not there because I was working my other job, and I felt good about it, but at the same time, I was like, I miss the kids. I want to see them matching, and now it's like I trusted them. It was like no call issues or nothing. So it was a blessing. It was like time for me to let go of that, start delegating more, and just so now I'm trying to, in a space, trying to get more into school programming. I know I can't be there every day. There's no way I can be there every day. That's a lie, unless I put myself away. I'm trying to follow what God's called me to do. And just show me the way that I could do this effectively, without burning myself out, so I could have a team of people that I can create a vision with, create expectations, and hold them stand by, or and just take it to the next level. That's what I want to do. And that's something where I can help me with some of those areas. Not the whole course, but some of the areas like VA, talking about this virtual assistant. I had this website that's stuck on Vince, pulled to modify it like 5 times, and I know it had time to modify it, or make it 22-ish, make it more appealing. So, just something like that. Just put more stuff out there, because we have done the work and we have seen the results. But now I feel it's time more people can do that. So I want to ask you this. What does Cena Martin do for self-care? Since you're a mom, entrepreneur, speaker, teacher, trainer. So what things you do for self-care to just rely, because you have a lot of responsibilities?
Yeah, good question. So I traveling is that's my piece. Like seeing new parts of the world, just go to another city and get an Airbnb for the weekend, just so you can kind of detach, and you have to change your surroundings up. That's one of my big ones. I know not everybody can, but that's one of my big ones. The other thing that I do to decompress is I have like specific cutoff times. I will not work my business until I'm worked into the ground. I'll have specific times where it's like, if it's 6:30 on a Friday, if I want to stay at 6:30, the computer has to close, the phones have to go off, me and the kids were out to a movie. There's just, my boundaries are non-negotiable. They're non-negotiable. because I had to have that time for me, and you got to have that time away from the kids too. Like you need
True.
time just for you. So having
Right.
those things in my schedule where I'm scheduling time for me. I love music. I will go listen to live music. I love jazz, I love wine. So it's just things for me that's going to help me decompress and help me to get away. I make sure they're in my schedule and it's a non-negotiable.
Right. Well said. That's well said. And two more questions. The first one is, what advice would you tell the younger Cena Martin?
Ooh. What advice would I tell the younger? Oh gosh, that's a good question. I would tell her that it is okay to let go. It's okay to let go. You don't have to carry everything that happened to you with you. It's okay to close chapters and let new doors open. But you have to do it if you want to grow.
Wonderful. Yes, loved it. And where people can find you for more information about your services, your book, especially how people can sign up for your services, things like that.
Yeah, so I'm on every social media platform. Just look up Cena. You see my name right here, Cena Martin, or look up Cena Martin Chandler, CHANDLER. You'll find me on everything. If you go to highergreathelp.com, you'll see a workshop we just put on. You'll be able to contact me that way. And also I'm always open to like DMs. So if you want to direct message me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll find me. Look up Higher Great Help or look up Cena Martin Chandler. You'll find me. And I will answer any questions you have and get back in touch with you right away.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, wow. So Cena Martin, thank you for just telling your story, the story of resilience, story of overcoming, story letting it go, and now turning your pain that you experience into something powerful to help some people be not where you were. And I thank you for your story, because thank you for just allowing me to interview and talk to you, because it's been overdue. We've known each other fast in emails for years, and now I got better understanding of what you do and understanding about why you do the news you do. So, we're definitely going to support you. Definitely spread the word out, because your services need is definitely needed, especially help single moms out there with also with teams, starting businesses, people who have struggled with delegating, like myself, and delegating, giving control, without fear of the vision that's being contradicting, So we thank you for just your time. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your resilience and just your zeal to not give up and not give in, not be a statistic, to take it something that was could have been terrible and turn it around for the better good. And now you are a successful woman. Just moved out to Georgia, despite a new chapter in your life, and now this impact many more people. So we thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Hope you be a guest later on more again.
Yes, I would love to.
Yes, because I think I got some ideas in my brain right now about helping people, become, so because I'm about how people become better and being exposed to people who are doing the right things, or doing things that God told them to do, and they have resilient stories, So like, this is like the woman struggle to experience. Like you could have been conformed to what people told you when you got pregnant senior year. Could conform to what people said and stuck there. But God transformed you and turned that around for His glory, and now He's doing the service that He gave you a gift, and that's a blessing to itself. And we have a responsibility to share that gift to help someone else, because when we leave here, we want to leave empty. You want to leave empty and feel and did anything that God has called us to do, and make sure we done it well and seeing it abundantly. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for those who are watching, who's going to watch the replay of this on Instagram Live. I'm sorry we missed half the interview because the phone got too hot, so we didn't record. So we got the second half of it. So, but Facebook Live, you can see the whole thing on Facebook page, Woman Struggle 2. You can see the whole entire interview in its entirety. But thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your time. Be blessed and continue to be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Levon.
You're welcome.
Everyone.